is it you pray for?
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 38th episode of Abyssal Musings, where we're here. It's been a day. It's been a long damn that a little bit, but as it happens, Larry is out of town with family tonight. He may be able to stop in. He may not. Kind of depends on how things go. But I have encouraged him to spend the time with his family because that's always far more important than what we do here.
True story.
And Nomi will be joining us. She is taking care of something for a friend at the moment, so she will be joining us as soon as she is able to. Meantime, we have with us tonight guest hosting Joker Voice. Welcome.
Hello. Back in my seat again. Thank you, Larry, for keeping it warm.
Joke doesn't get old. It's not as funny as the Kevin in the closet one, but it's still pretty funny.
So. Well, I mean, if you've seen Secret Invasion, you're proud of yourself.
He's got chapped starfish.
Well, no, he's got chapped lips from sucking that Chinese honey sausage. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So. Let's say hello to the chat real quick. We've got Carrie in chat as we dance into the fire to fatal sounds of broken dreams. That sounds like song lyrics, buddy.
Yes, it's from the James Bond film View to a Kill by Duran Duran.
Nice. Kohai, hello. Good to see you. Boa, as always, welcome. Pop My Culture, hello.
Yes.
We are currently simulcasting on JV's channel as well, by the way. So if you see chats on the screen that you don't see in the chat that you're in, it's because they're on the other channel. Simulcasting is the wave of the future, as we're discovering.
Definitely helps the hours.
Yeah. Hi, Beak. Good to see you. Beak. So, all right. So, you know how Larry normally will prepare a program, an itinerary, and as he's out of town tonight, that was left up to me. So I didn't write anything down, but I've got a few things that we can go over tonight. And good deal. Yeah. As I've been saying, as a lot of other people before me have been saying, rising tide lifts all ships, right?
True story.
So, so we've got a few things we'll go over and all that stuff. We may have a surprise appearance from a lioness at some point during the show as well.
Oh boy.
It's possible, but no promises. It
Gotcha.
Kind of depends on how busy she is. So, but yeah, if she decides to show up, more the merrier.
Carrie, my God.
Every day is long. Yeah. So let's talk about that. Like, how was your day, man?
My day? Let's see. I got off work at 8 a.m. Went to my friend's bar because that's 5 o'clock for me. Drank, gambled, lost about $160. Went home, took about 5 Advil, went to sleep, just woke up just in time for Friday night's Royal Rumble. Had a bite to eat in between, and now I'm here.
Okay, so you've only been awake for a few hours then.
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. That's better than my day. Woke up a little late to work, only a little bit, but enough to irritate me because I don't like that. And then as soon as I got there, we had one staff member who took today off yesterday all of a sudden, which is fine. Stuff comes up. But then about an hour after my shift began, my other staff member, who there are normally 3 of us on the crew, decided, or not decided, but something came up and had to leave. And so I was the whole thing today. So had a lot of work to cover.
A one-man show.
Yeah, pretty much. And it gets better. Before I found myself by my onesie, we had an email come through from another department saying that we needed to get all of the vehicles off of the roads and undercover because we were expecting a deluge of 2-inch hailstones,
Yeesh.
followed by a deluge of water and thunder and lightning and
All right.
possibly twisters. And as it turns out, one did touch down not so far outside of town today.
It's a twister. It's a
It's just,
twister.
man, nothing has been going right today.
What's up,
Nothing
Dempsey?
at all. So here we are. Here's hoping that the show doesn't suck for you guys.
Well, and as
Hey, Dempsey.
as I said, you know, Samael being an eldritch terror, I'm sure he caused part of this storm.
You know, that's like saying that Satan's responsible for every person who kicks a puppy. Sometimes shit just happens, man. You know,
I'm
and
saying,
as
I'm
those
just
things
saying.
go, like I told you backstage, at least part of me exists in this dimension, and that part of me can get real fucked up by a lightning strike.
And 2-inch hail, damn, that's
Yeah.
damaging.
Well, as it turns out, the hail did show up, but it was not nearly as bad as we thought it was going to be. It did, however, temporarily clog all the storm drains, so there was some flooding.
There's
And
that.
you know, I was talking to my mother, and she's like, "You need to be real careful on the way home." She's right. And she's like, "You know, if there's a tornado coming, you gotta, you know, don't get under an underpass, go under a ditch." And I was like, "Mom, I'm 42 years old, and I've been through this before." But you know, I know what she's just worried, and it's
Right.
you know,
She's just
I'm a
being
parent
mom.
too. I get it, but I was also trying to let her know though that getting into a ditch, any ditch, would be a bad idea because all of the storm drains were clogged with hail, so I would drown.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you got some real weather out there. I get the I get the swift desert rainstorms where clouds just unload right on top of our town, and I'm in a desert. We're not designed to for large amounts of the water. So there were some intersections where your car will get swept away.
Right. Boa. Well, aside from the fact that that's not his name, yes, I did. I had a very nice conversation with my dad on the phone on Father's Day. I hope all of you did as well.
Oh, and how was your how was your kids' birthday, right?
Yeah, also on Father's Day, and yeah, it went about as well as you could be expected. You know, more excited about the presents than about anything else,
Seeing you, right?
kind of thing. But yeah, no, pretty well,
Good.
overall. So but yeah, so and for those of you who missed it last week when I said the thing, happy belated Father's Day. To all the dads out there. So, but yeah, all right, let's let's get the show on the road. I guess.
Boy. Here we go.
So first thing up is an article that I found earlier today while I was on a break because lots of stuff. All right. Texas Tech cancels witchcraft class following backlash. Apparently, they were holding classes on Wicca, to be more precise about what it is, but not like theological classes. Because you can get those at university. You can go study various religions and that kind of thing.
Correct.
This was more how to do it. Kind of a deal, and basically it was it'd be like going to Sunday school on a publicly funded campus.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing. So my big issue with this one, and we'll get into the text of the thing here in a minute, is the people who set this class up. Right. And there are other places in Texas even where universities are still offering this kind of thing. Now they're okay with religion,
right,
on taxpayer funded school grounds, campuses, that sort of thing.
Right.
Like they'd lose their shit if any of the big three did it.
Gotcha. True
So
story. I mean, it got to a point to where they had to make their own. They had to make their own. They had to make their own colleges to get
mhm,
this, so they could practice their religion and teach it as well.
right, and which is fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with private schools. I wouldn't have a problem with a private Wiccan school either. It's like if you want your kids to go to a place there, then and learn that religion, fine. Pay the tuition, whatever. I do have a problem as a taxpayer paying for this kind of thing. I mean,
Yes,
as long as we are practicing the idea of separating church and state, that is
correct,
all religions and state. There should not be exceptions.
correct.
And Wicca, if I remember correctly, as of like the late 1970s, is recognized by the federal government as a
Hmm.
as a religion with tax exempt status.
Correct.
So yeah, tis what it is, I guess. But all right, so this comes to us from the Texas Scorecard, real news for real Texans. Uh,
Well, that's not. That's not. That doesn't sound very
well, the old joke, right? Only two things ever came out of Texas.
steers and queers.
Yeah, and you ain't got no horns on you, boy.
Right. That's a that's a great film. That's a great film.
Yeah. So, all right. It says after public backlash, Texas Tech University has walked back plans to offer a class on witches, brujas, and black magic this fall.
Hmm.
As reported by Texas Scorecard earlier this week, the course was described as introducing the study of beliefs and practices, past and present, associated with magic, witchcraft, spirituality, magic realism, and religion. Those are all different things, by the way.
Correct.
Like, pick a lane. you know uh, Topics that were to be discussed include ritual, symbolism, mythology, altered states of consciousness, and healing, as well as syncretism, change, and the social roles of these beliefs and practices.
Wow.
So
They're just kind of throwing everything into one big tent here.
yeah, this is and actually, as I'm rereading this, I'm looking at it, and this seems to be just a theological class,
Right.
right? And not a particularly focused one at that.
Right.
you know so it's a little weird that it's at Texas Tech. I would assume that's more of a vocational school.
It is. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But the more I'm reading this, I'm seeing less of an issue with it, except for this next part here. Other public universities in Texas, however, are still set to offer similar classes classified under universities, women's and gender studies colleges.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Well, because it's a women's religion. you know?
Um, I know quite a few folks who would say otherwise.
Sure. But how many of them are, far lefties, for example?
A lot.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting to me because and my own experience with Wiccans and people of
Pagans.
that nature,
Yeah.
I would say less pagan. Pagan is a broad term.
Okay.
Is a very, very broad term. Neo-pagans maybe.
Okay.
But Wicca specifically has two main branches. I forget what one of them's called. The other one is Gardnerian Wicca, which comes to us from England, and that was set up specifically to focus on like feminine energies. They always refer to the goddess,
Okay. Now
that
I
sort
get.
of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And it really thing is what a lot of practicing Wiccans now don't understand about Gardner, the guy who set all that up, who took what was known basically as herbology and shit like that and turned it into this religion, is that he did that to get laid.
Well, yeah, that's kind of
in Victorian England.
Yeah, that's kind of how that's kind of the reason that Anton LaVey created the Church of Satan.
Yeah, so it's just like that was the whole purpose was to this was before tax exempt status was like a thing for in the United States for religions, and
right.
So, and he wasn't even in the United States. I mean, dude was English, and he mixed and matched a lot of stuff from random stuff. He took stuff from Asatru. He took stuff from Druidism, and they all fall under the pagan umbrella, but they are different religions.
Gotcha.
Those two in particular that I pulled off out of my hat there, both did involve human sacrifice at one time, and Wicca's pretty light on that. But
yeah. So just by the way, did you ever see the movie? Did you ever see the movie? No, The Witch.
No, I did not.
Okay, good film.
I think I saw something else that was made by that person, but I can't remember what it was.
Eggers. It's Robert Burnett.
Was he the one who did The Northman?
The Northman, The Lighthouse, same guy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I like his work. I just haven't seen The Witch.
Which much like the Northman also has Anya Taylor-Joy in it.
Yeah. Well, Dempsey, yes and no. No. I'm a pagan, for those who are unaware of it. I'm not a particularly good one. I'm like a Sunday Christian or a Jack Mormon,
Okay.
It's like I believe, but I don't do a lot of active practicing, but yeah, so it is what it is. Yeah, Carrie, I think you might be right about that. I don't know for sure. It was just making a joke, honestly. And Wicca at that time was not a recognized religion. And in fact, in Victorian England, that was the kind of thing that would get you in a lot of trouble. Well, yes and no, because it was right on the edge of the Age of Enlightenment. You had guys like Crowley with his Hermetic Order, the Golden Dawn stirring shit with the high society and all that stuff. But God, what a douche that dude was. Anyway,
didn't the drummer for didn't the drummer for Led Zeppelin die in his dimension?
Yeah, I heard. I think so. Yeah, Crowley himself didn't die till like the early 1930s.
Wow.
He came in pretty late in the 19th century, and kept it up till he croaked.
To get laid, probably.
Well, he was more of a charlatan. He was the 19th century version of a grifter. He was a snake oil salesman.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Got a hold of some things that were pretty rare, and then he purported to be the only one to understand them. And then he got a bunch of people who like to go to seances to like follow him around, like groupies, and it's a whole thing. He was into mysticism, which is basically the bullshit part of it.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it says the University of North Texas offers ANTH 4751 supernatural magic, witchcraft, and religion, while students at the University of Texas can take HIS 343P history of witchcraft. History of witchcraft, I don't see an issue with that.
Not really. I don't see a problem with that.
It's almost inseparable from certain parts of history in the last, I don't know, say 800 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big part of it. A lot of things happened around that changed the way that society moved. Controversial classes have sparked conversation on taxpayers' role in funding public universities. And to be fair, I'm kind of on board with that. Like, I think we shouldn't be funding public universities. I don't think there should be public universities at all. I think if you want to seek higher education, you should take it upon yourself to do so. But I don't see why I should pay for it.
Up until 1979, there was no Department of Education, but yet there was public schools and public universities.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, okay, maybe just get rid of that. I know that in certain redder states, there's a big push with Christians in particular. We don't want this in our schools and all that stuff. And to a degree, I agree with him. If it's publicly funded, I don't think any kind of because I could see how, from a Christian perspective, this would be taken as a kind of indoctrination. However, I imagine these are all electives, and so there's some wiggle room there. And I mean, as long as they're talking, theory, history, you know, just studying the thing as a from a historical, anthropological, or scientific perspective, I don't see an issue with these classes at all,
No,
personally. But if
not at
they
all.
are like doing fucking naked prayer circles or some shit like that, then yeah, they shouldn't be doing that shit on campus. They
Or
certainly shouldn't be doing it on the taxpayer's dime.
or sacrificing a goat in 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 class.
Yeah, well, Christians and Jews used to do that shit too. Just saying.
I'm just saying.
It's the whole blood sacrifice thing is pretty universal, depending on how far back you go.
Yeah.
So some religions still practice it. Voodoo, for example, it's all blood sacrifice. I think even certain sects of Islam actively practice that with goats and sheep and such. And I think not necessarily in the United States, you don't hear about it too much, but I think that certain Jewish sects, particularly in Israel, still practice sacrificing, a ram or some such kind of thing. So, that's as far as the blood sacrifice thing goes, that's not an unusual thing. People talk about it like, oh my gosh, it's such a, dark occult thing. I don't know. It's just a religious thing.
Right.
No.
Fair enough.
So, but so this says they have sparked controversial conversation on taxpayers' role in funding public universities. Greg Abbott recently signed into law Senate Bill 19, which will provide for additional endowment funding at Texas Tech, which means more money for them to do pretty much what they want. Legislation will go into effect January 1st of next year. So this is just a short little thing. I mean, it wasn't like a big deal or anything like that. But I'm curious, JB, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Well, my thoughts on anything public education, it needs to be burned to the ground. That's my first take on this. I really have, to be completely honest, I really have no opinion on this. If someone wants to take a class, they should be allowed to. If as most universities, as long as it's like a history of a religion or philosophy or something, that's fine. But I do think now people are getting that separation of church and state all of a sudden now becomes a thing.
Yeah,
because you can teach anything else but not Christianity or Judaism or anything of those lines, because those are bad. Those are isphobic, blah 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 blah. But now this, when there's the backlash for it, and you get the far lefties going, no, this is great. And it's like now you care.
Right. Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking is I think frankly, in terms of theory, in terms of getting a degree in theological sciences or whatever, I don't see an issue with these kinds of classes, because from what I'm reading here, the first time I read that, I didn't read it correctly, and I thought they were doing something that they at least from this article has been stated that they're not in fact doing. This looks like more of a study than practice rather.
Practice. Right.
And so after rereading it, I've rethought my stance on it. I don't have an issue with these classes being offered. I do still think it's weird that it's at a vocational school, or what I think is a vocational school. It seems like an odd course in between, like, learning how a socket wrench works.
Right.
So, yeah, Dempsey, I think you're right about that. And, and I think part of the problem with the way where we are at now is because the people on the other side pushed back so hard after the second run of the Satanic Panic in the 90s. I think that There was so much of that shit, and it was in our face every day. Then it was the same kind of crap we're seeing now, but just on the other side of the fence. Um, and I mean, they were saying that music made people kill people, and that
Yeah.
so
Which still that the clips from that Senate hearing with, what was it, Frank Zappa, Dee Snyder, and John Denver over censorship in music, and they really didn't quite think this through. That they thought that John Denver was going to side with them, and he was like the biggest. He was like the biggest ad advocate against the Senate.
well, he was an artist and a patriot,
Yeah.
and he believed in freedom of expression.
Yep.
And he was vocal about that his entire career. I can't imagine why they would think that he would side with them on this.
Correct.
And all that. But yeah, but yeah, Dempsey, I think you're right. You got it's gonna go hard. Big three religious push here soon. I say big three. It's mostly going to be from Islam, actually, probably, and also to a lesser degree Christianity, because as I've said before, modern American Christians have no teeth.
True.
They've taken that turn the other cheek statement, and I don't believe that they fully understand what that means. Um, they just take it as a reason to be a punching bag. That's not what
Right.
it's about.
No.
It's about saying, "Hey, here's my other cheek. Can you?" It's like, is that all you got?
Right.
It's about standing up to them. It's not about backing down. Uh, but so yeah, there's probably going to be a big push for that. Let me get this article off the screen here. But yeah, I just found that as an interesting little footnote. I mean, all the crap that's going on in the world, and I'm just like, huh, that's odd.
Right.
For those of you who would like to go over it again or are interested in the Texas scorecard, the link to that article is also in the description below. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I am a big proponent of the First Amendment, all of it.
Yep.
I even believe in freedom of the press, which, there are days when I'm like, dude, somebody should just duct tape all these motherfuckers. But I'm not, I mean, now that I think about it, yeah, don't just duct tape their mouths, duct tape their butt cheeks together. Let's do it old school, like junior high.
Wow.
Make them
Wow.
uncomfortable. It's like, yeah, maybe now you'll think about what you said, but
Right.
that wouldn't be right. That would be a violation of the First Amendment. And while I may be petty, I'm not about to do that to any American citizen.
Right. I mean, you have a right to say, well, okay, here's the First Amendment, and this is where some people in my line of work at the establishment that I work at, they get this confused. They take it as they can say whatever they want, whenever they want, how loud they want. And I have to remind them that no, that's not how this works. I had to tell someone at my bar to stop talking politics. And he said, "You are infringing on my First Amendment right." And I said, "No, I'm actually not." And he said, "I have the right to say the whatever I want, wherever I want. This is a public place." And I said, "No, this is a private place that is open to the public. Your right to free speech ends when you enter the door. Now, if you want to go out on the street corner and talk your politics as loud as you want, go right ahead. I won't stop you. I can't stop you. But the minute you walk in that door, yes, I can."
Yeah. Bo brings up a good point here too. Speaking of not understanding scripture, spare the rod means a shepherd's rod. Did not hate the sheep, use the rod to guide the sheep where they should go.
Mhm.
That's half true. Yes, that is the correct interpretation when it comes to the flock. However, a shepherd's crook or rod was also used to fend off wolves,
Correct.
and he absolutely beat them. It was used to protect the flock as well.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's a good point, Bo, and I think you're correct on that.
That's the same thing.
I mean, yeah, some of them
You're not
definitely
wrong.
might as well be the same thing.
I mean, because
So
I've always said that. Well, not religion, organized religion is the same thing as politics. A small group of people are trying to control masses by keeping them scared and keeping them stupid.
I think historically that's been true in a lot of cases. I don't think in everyone, but in most, yeah. Particularly if we're talking about what I would term the largest cult in the world. No offense to my Catholic followers, but it's historically been used to maintain control over empires. Even even kings and queens answered to the Pope at one time.
Yep.
And that's just, I don't know. That never really sat right with me, but I also wasn't there.
True.
So, who am I to judge? I'll tell you who I am to judge. I'm me. I'm awesome, and I said so.
All right.
Yeah.
And you're running for president too.
I am. Since you brought it up here, I got to be better than Mike Pence.
I mean, you got the same chances.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so but I do. I believe in the First Amendment, and I believe in all of the First Amendment. I believe in the right to free assembly and association. I believe in the right to petition the government for redress of grievances.
Absolutely.
I believe in the right to free speech. I believe in the right to, especially in the right to freedom of religious expression, which. I mean, a lot of people get that wrong. They're just like, oh, well, freedom of religion doesn't, means freedom from religion. No, it doesn't. Like you can't stop somebody from wearing a cross openly in the street because you'd be violating their rights. It's not your right to not see the damn thing. It is your right not to react to it. I mean, like how you handle these kinds of things really is what's important.
And I believe, and this is just my belief, that the founders kind of gave people the benefit of the doubt that, okay, you're an adult, you can figure this out now yourself, that just because someone has a right to something, it does not infringe on you.
Yeah, well, like that's the thing about polite society, though. Like, we have certain rights, certain inalienable rights. They apply to each and every one of us. However, things get tricky where it appears that one right is superseding another's. Like one person's rights might, like if maintaining your rights infringes on somebody else, or vice versa, it becomes tricky. The way it was explained to me. By my ex-wife, no less, something that one of her old teachers said to her was that your right to swing your fist ends where my nose begins.
Okay. Makes sense.
And I always thought that was a fair statement.
Yep.
No, you have the right to choose to walk away. And in any religion, you have that option. In a cult is a different story. Cults do not have the freedom to walk away. That's actually why they're cults, and not religions. It also tends to be why they ultimately fail, because after a while, they're going to have trouble getting new recruits, especially if they're of the Jonestown variety. But generally speaking, yeah, that's your difference between a religion and a cult. Is in a religion, you are always free to walk away.
True story.
So, but in terms of raising your children, for example, in the religion that you practice, that is also your right. as a parent and as a citizen. They do not have to follow that. Once they come of age and all this stuff, they can choose to opt out, sure. But you have the right to raise your children in the way that you see fit. And if we didn't do that, how would cultures be preserved?
Correct.
Because it's not just about religion. It's about, everything. It's about, civic duty. It's about how we interact with each other. It's about even, if you want law-abiding citizens, for your children to grow up and be, productive members of society, you have to teach them that, which to a degree, yes, doesn't involve a certain amount of, hey, we do things this way, we don't do things that way. And that's just the way it is. Otherwise, culture devolves, society devolves, and then you've got nothing. I mean, kind of what we're witnessing now, man. So, but yeah, big proponent of the First Amendment, and that means that I am also a big proponent of the Second Amendment, because without the Second Amendment, First Amendment doesn't happen.
Correct.
I don't necessarily think that people. I think people have the right to not be armed if they choose not to, as well. But there's if we were to strip that right from everybody, the First Amendment would follow very shortly after that, followed by all of the other ones, including the Eighth, which, by the way, the important part of that one is, to my mind anyway, no cruel or unusual punishment.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so Boa here asks a question. So when the parent wants to do life-altering medical practice on children while still children, what's up, Nomi?
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late, but as we talked on Friday night Royal Rumble, late is the new early.
Yeah, it's really not.
Late is late.
Yeah, well, I'm a woman, so you have to abide by my rules.
You know what? I had a gal who would relieve me at a bar I worked at, and she was supposed to be either at 7:45. She was there at 8:15, 8:30, and she pulled that line once. So she's like, well, late's the new early. And I'm like, no.
Okay. Well, if it's any consolation, I was chatting with our dear Shadow, who he just had a couple of hey, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Who cares? But I'm like, you know what? We're too hard on you. And
shut up, Shadow.
I mean, Shadow, can you already took too much of my time and already late, and JD's mad at me, okay?
That's right.
So yeah, you know what? I'm like, I'm gonna give this kid a bone because, you know what?
Too many jokes.
That's getting clipped by me, probably.
See, this is what happens when I'm late, Shadow, because I talk trash. I want to say trash. I'm trying to be a good friend, and then JD over here is like, huh, too many jokes. So.
It's really just the one joke, but it will be made.
But no, it was good conversation, and Shadow just you know what, you're a friend, right? I was like, we're friends, but okay, I'll give you time.
Wow. Well, he thinks so.
I'll let him believe what he wants to believe. So.
He's watching, right? That's me.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Shadow.
Dempsey says, "Hello, Nomi."
Yep.
Hello.
Yep, we are simulcasting to JB's channel as well. So, yeah. To answer Boa's earlier question, when you came in, it was up on the screen here.
Okay.
I agree, Boa. There is a line that has to be drawn. I believe that children should be raised by their parents in the way that their parents see fit. However, I see what you're talking about here as no different than cutting off an arm to prove a point, right? Like taking a child's fingers, for example. That's child abuse. At that point, somebody needs to step in and put a stop to it. There is child abuse. I believe that there's child abuse, and I do believe there's a line. However, in terms of believing what the parents believe. No, that is absolutely their right to raise them to believe that, and it's not my
Correct.
right to put a stop to that, even if I disagree with it. You know, one of
Correct.
my best friends in the world is a very outspoken Muslim woman, and you know, I don't
You
always
don't
agree with the
say.
things that she says either, on these terms. Like, I don't necessarily think. Oh, even Kat, we had a discussion with Kat about this.
Oh, not too
As
long ago.
much,
Yeah.
yeah, as much as it distresses me personally that there are people who are raising their kids to believe that there's something they're not. For example, with the
Correct.
false gender euphoria that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I hate that, as
Mm-hmm.
much as it goes against my core beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
I still believe in the Constitution of the United States, and that states basically that parents have the right to raise their children in the manner that they live and the manner that they
Correct.
believe. And I don't have the right to infringe on that. Neither does the government or anyone else.
Amen. And this goes to my basic thing, where Sam and I completely agree. As long as you are not, the line crosses when the line crosses from being permissible is when you physically harm somebody's person or their property.
Mhm.
Then you've crossed the line.
I mean, even if you're not physically harming them, if you keep a kid chained up in a closet, you know, and feed them like a dog, that's child abuse.
Right.
You know,
But
someone needs to step in and put a stop to that.
but that that is physically harming their physical person.
Because do they have access to go to the restroom or clean themselves, or, you know, a human right, which is getting water? No, that is hurting that person, and that is abuse, and that's torture.
Yeah.
And actually, Shadow, that's a fairly coherent point.
No, I think it's a good point.
It is a
I
good
think
point.
because and that's the other thing that we keep talking about. You know, like, oh, we got to put a stop to this and this and this because it's leading to
Where
the
does the
destruction of
line
our
start?
society.
When
But
does
the
the line
fact of the
stop?
matter is as Dempsey brought up earlier, that pendulum is always swinging. It never stops, and it never will. As long as there are people who live in a community together, there will always be people on one side of an issue or the other. And the power is going to change hands, and it's going to do so relatively frequently in the lifespan of humans. What you put in place will be used against you at some point down the road.
And Shadow, so good, so great comment. Now shut up.
Just stop picking on the kid.
No,
Hey, he has some good points here and there. And today was actually that one's actually pretty good. It's like, all right,
I'll let it know. And I acknowledge that. Well done, Shadow. Now shut up. Oh,
Yeah.
Twinkerbell.
oh, Boa, that's cold. It's funny, but it's cold. So,
wow. Boa, that's great.
Yeah, Carrie. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to stop breathing, but how's that one quote go? And I forget who said it originally, but I will defend to the death. You know, I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
It was, I believe that's from the American president, where he said, freedom of speech, believing in the freedom of speech is defending somebody screaming at the top of their lungs that which you would oppose at the top of yours.
Yeah. I think Bo's making a point here about religious mutilation. And, you know, I would agree mostly on that. As a man who is circumcised, it doesn't bother me that I am. I don't have any particular problem with being circumcised. I could see how other men would have an issue with it. And I can see how, what I don't understand is men who were circumcised as infants who are now claiming trauma in their 40s over it. You know, when they got along the rest of their lives prior to that.
Did you remember when it happened? Well, you were an infant.
Right. I don't remember it at all. It happened like, I don't know, like a day
Was it a
after I was
core
born.
memory? Yeah.
So no,
Like,
no, not at all. And so like for me personally, I don't care that I was circumcised. It doesn't offend me or bother me in any way. But I understand how others would do that. And there are some cultures and some religions that will do it at a later, much more traumatizing age, like 13,
yeah.
which I
I
think is
mean,
fucked up. But
I can't relate on being circumcised, but like in like Mexican culture, as soon as the girls are born, our mothers instantly took us to a piercing store and got our ears pierced, literally right after the womb. And so I've had my ears pierced since I was 1. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like right after the womb, but that is a common thing because when I told my friends that, like, yeah, like I got my ears pierced when I was 1, my mom did it, and they're like, I didn't get my ears pierced until I was 13 because that was something I had to earn. I was like, that's strange. And of course, when they were older, it's like, yeah, it was a scary experience because like it hurt and I was afraid like what was gonna feel like. It's like, well, I didn't have that because I was 1, so I don't remember it.
actually, no, that is a good point. Because like obviously you can see where circumcision could be considered a mutilation of a child. So are piercings, though.
Yeah.
Ear piercings, for example. I mean, if you really think about it, what are you doing? You're punching a hole through their flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Midnight Horror. We're having a discussion about where the line is with what's the difference, for example, between like infant circumcision or piercing a little girl's ears and cutting their junk off,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Because people
and
have different upbringings.
I would say that the ultimate outcome probably has a lot more to do with that. Well, I don't necessarily think that we should be piercing kids' ears. I think that's a decision that they should make when they're old enough, personally, because again, it's their body. I wouldn't cut off their finger just because it was like, oh well, I think I should be doing this at a young age. She doesn't need that finger. I need to make sure it goes away. That's
like we talked about this last week when
Mhm.
Larry brought up like, yeah, in Thailand it's still practice that they cut off their fingers for like what, every year, or like someone died in their family. I'm not sure what that tradition is, but like that's a human limb, and that is a functioning limb that you need, but it's a tradition that you have to do it because it's family. Versus like, yeah, like what I was saying earlier, like, or even saying you, like, I don't believe people need to get their ears pierced. That's something that you want to do it yourself because that is your body and that's your choice. But like me, like it happened to me. I didn't have a choice because I was 1 year old, and then my mom thought it would be cute because like I am a girl, so she's like, yeah, when she's older, she'll have her ears pierced, and when she's like, it was very common that I was a flower girl in my cousins' weddings, my older cousins. So there's photos of me with like little girl earrings on. So that was just a cut thing that I grew into, and I didn't have a problem. Like, okay, like now that I'm older, I do wear earrings here and there, but I didn't have a choice, but I wasn't mad about it. But I do believe like, yeah, like you do have to have that right of like making that decision for yourself.
Right. Yeah, and I think that, that's probably the way to go. And I think that the same applies to, how shall I put this, gender affirming care. I think that's something that a child, if that's something they want, then they need to wait until they're a legal adult to make that decision.
Mm-hmm. And I've said this before on several streams that I've been on with all of you guys. I have a friend who is non-binary, and this person is a consenting adult in their age. And they made that decision on them. They didn't make that decision as a kid. This person, like, okay, let me give it a few years and see like what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking is what it is. Hey, it is what it is. I'm going to go do the surgery. And that was their decision. Like, they're an adult. They made that. No one twisted their arm. That was something they made. So yeah, I can't argue on that because you're an adult.
Right. And so I don't have an issue with an adult choosing to, and I'm still going to say it, like, transgender people, you're mutilating yourselves.
Yes.
You are. You're mutilating and sterilizing yourselves. And I think ultimately it's a bad decision, but that is my opinion. And
some people also say that the same thing for folks who get piercings and tattoos and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were just talking about. Is like where's
Oh.
that line? Like some people pierce their small children's ears, for example.
Mhm.
You know, some people cut off the foreskin. You know, there are things that happen with small children that maybe shouldn't. Maybe should wait till they're adults. Greetings, salutations. Welcome to the show, Mira.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Where's Larry?
Larry is upstate with family tonight, so he couldn't make it tonight.
How dare he?
I think he told you. Didn't he tell you he was doing this weekend?
I don't remember.
Like 2 days ago.
Uh-oh. Well, Larry's in trouble again.
Oh,
So,
God.
but that's he's out for the time. Carrie's laughing at us.
Let him laugh.
Shadow
says howdy, Pride leader.
Howdy.
We got
Dempsey as well. So that's from my we're simulcasting from my YouTube channel as well. So
Hi, Beak.
We got Suka in chat. Yeah, everybody's happy to see you. Glad you could make it.
I'm happy.
So, I'm curious actually as to your thoughts on the subject. I don't know how much of the conversation you caught when you came into the backstage.
Oh, I just jumped in because I saw you were live.
Okay. We were discussing about basically where the line is, like for obviously we don't want underage kids being sterilized, mutilated, that sort of thing.
Right.
I am curious as to, I guess, your thoughts on other forms of mutilation as a child. I mean, when you really think about it, like piercing their ears when they're young or circumcision.
Right.
You know, like where is that different? Is that maybe something that we should wait till they're adults for too?
Changing your body in any permanent way when you're a kid, I don't know. But even when I was a kid, I don't know if Nomi has the same kind of upbringing because she's a girl. But my parents didn't even let us cut our hair when we were young. They said, you're a child. You should have hair like a child. Short haircuts were considered for adults, for adult women. That when you're a child, you need to have your hair be long down your back because that's a child hairstyle kind of. I don't know how they described it, but basically it's kind of like how in America they say the kid being too grown.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, like, we weren't even allowed to cut our hair, and unless the parents decided it was time for a haircut because of maybe health reasons, it's too hot, maybe you don't maintain your hair good. And as for piercings, girls always get pierced from infancy. So that's something that's tradition. But aside from getting the ears pierced as tradition, I don't think that children should make any permanent changes to their bodies.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I think so. I that's kind of been my assumption on it as well. Like, and we were discussing, I gave Suka that says it was too much information, but I shared that I was circumcised right after I was born. It's common practice in the United States with American males.
I want to add to that two things to what you just said. You said about circumcision. I didn't speak on that, but the other reason why I believe that children shouldn't be mutilated until they are adults, which is around 22 and not 18. But the reason why we say that is because children, we want to give them the best start possible in adulthood. We want to give you the cleanest start possible for when you finally get your logical brain to, we don't want to have you dealing with things that you did as a teen and you weren't, you know what I mean? And that's how you start your adulthood. But anyway, and the other thing about circumcision, now circumcision in our culture is mandatory, that because of health reasons, because it's easier to clean the boy. I mean, yes, pardon?
Sorry, I'm losing the chat. I was just saying hello.
Don't cut me off. I'm just kidding. No. But listen, the thing about the circumcision is hygiene, right? They say it's hygiene, but there are ways to train boys how to clean their hooded penis.
Yeah, it's all you have to do is teach them how to clean themselves properly, and it'll be fine. Like it's like cleaning everything else. Sometimes you got to move a bit to get to a bit.
Yeah.
You know,
And what that highlighted a comment from Lou Casely, like she knows she's had probably the same experience that I did. Like I agree with the ear piercings for the girls as part of Latin American traditions.
right?
Both her and I have that.
Circumcision for infant boys in the United States is part of our tradition. I mean, it's there's not like a logical reason behind it really, but it is part of our tradition here as Americans.
There is a reason behind it,
Well,
know that, right?
yeah, but like there's not a good reason behind it.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, I know there are a lot of men. There's a growing movement of men who are very upset about having been circumcised as children. Part of me doesn't understand why, because I don't ever remember not being circumcised. It hasn't really hurt me in any way. I don't feel traumatized. I don't even remember it happening. It happened when I was, like a day or two old or whatever.
It prevents docking too, so that's a fine thing.
Oh, Jesus. I will boot you, sir. But so I don't understand how men my age are all of a sudden traumatized by something that I don't remember in my own life. For example, that doesn't make any sense to me.
There are men claiming trauma.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's even a movement to start. I think there are even surgeons who will try and fix it.
Wait, so what do you mean, Lou? She says that she learned that baby circumcised skin is sold for big money. Sold for what?
Stem cells.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's chock full of stem cells.
Huh.
Yeah, they use it to do all kinds of things involving stem cells. Some valid treatments, and some probably more of the Bohemian Grove variety. So there's a big black market for that. Yeah. So I didn't mean to read any of it. I didn't read out the title that she's got on there. I'm not even sure what that is, Amira, at the bottom there. TDE Baus.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. So, but yeah, no, it's just I mean, like they have to take the skin from some other part of your body, man, to replace it. Like it doesn't seem worth it. Especially if I've been living with this as long as I have, and it doesn't really bother me, and it doesn't change how I live, or I don't feel impaired in any way. I don't see the point in like pulling skin off the back of my fucking leg.
Oh, Dempsey, tell me that is not true.
Well, they say also that it takes away the sensitivity for the man. It reduces the sensitivity.
Yeah, but how the hell would I know? I've been circumcised since I was an infant. I didn't start, down that path until I was 18.
Right.
Well, and another thing is that there have been theories that it makes men losing their virginity easier if they don't have the skin there, because the skin somehow about it ripping or pulling when you have your first time as a man. And if you are already circumcised, you don't experience that because your skin is already appropriately adjusted to your.
Huh.
This is a lot.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that. It's the skin is designed to stretch. That's what it does. So I don't know how much truth there is to that particular statement, but because even the skin that's left over stretches.
Right. Because you're born with X amount of skin, you don't the same. You're born with the same skin that you have. The skin you were born with is the skin you have now. It just stretches.
Well, you would think it would be the opposite way around, right? You would think that circumcised men would have a more painful first time because your skin is already stretched to its limit. And then,
well, no, not if they were circumcised as infants, because that scar tissue is all healed up by then. Like it's it's any residual sensitivity from the procedure itself has already been. I don't know what the word I'm looking for here. It desensitized rather in that term. Right. So yeah, maybe there was desensitization there, but as far as I know, right, since it happened before I could remember it, it hasn't really affected my life in a positive or negative way. It's just how my body is, for example. So I don't get these guys who are upset about it now, especially if they came up in the United States. They were likely circumcised also as infants, unless, they were part of, like certain religious sects, certain like Jews, for example, they will circumcise their males, I think around the age of 13. Right. Which I would find far more fucking traumatic.
Right.
Personally.
Exactly.
Because like, there's no way I'm not remembering that.
Right. Right. Exactly.
But, and I think there's at least one tribe that I've heard of in Africa that as a rite of passage, it's done to them at the age of, I think, 12.
Yeah, there's tribes in Africa that circumcise the girls, and it's known as like if the girl is not circumcised, she's considered promiscuous or immoral. But if the girl is circumcised, which basically means they're just cutting skin off just randomly, because a woman doesn't need circumcision, but they just cut the skin to make her not enjoy sexual pleasures. So they say, like, if a woman has all of her skin there, that means she's enjoying. And if she's enjoying, that means she's going to crave more, and that she will be hard to control. This is just a very backwards thing. And a lot of ignorance out there, because those people claim to be Muslim, they're like, oh, this is what Islam promotes. This is what Islam says is the female, what's it called?
Circumcision.
Yeah, female circumcision. And they're like, oh, this is what Islam says. And it's like, there's nowhere in Islam that says you should circumcise a woman.
No, I think that that particular thing was probably instituted by men to control women, would be my guess. And I know that we talk a lot about lefties and how they, feminists and that sort of thing. In this instance, I think they're probably right. It's female genital mutilation is fucked up. It's unnecessary. It does a lot more harm than any possible good that could come of it.
Go ahead, Joker.
I only first heard about this on an episode of Law and Order.
Well, when you actually think about it, women already suffer enough from their genitals, and then you're going to cause more suffering for a woman by cutting her, needlessly cutting her when she doesn't need any more pain down there. A woman already suffers every month down there. She already suffers during childbirth down there. She suffers during sex down there. And then now you're going to make things just harder for her. It's just like, it's a complete way to just ruin a woman's life. And I think that what you're saying, Samuel, is right. It's just another way to try to dominate.
I'm glad that I'm a guy.
Yeah, be glad that you're a guy, because women suffer a lot,
daily.
Yeah. I don't know. We kind of got to this point. I'm not even sure how we got to this topic. This wasn't one of my planned topics, by the way, but it's been a good one, I think.
From witchcraft? Witchcraft to the mutilation. All right, I like it.
Right. Well, where we started, Amira, since you came in late, was there's some classes on witchcraft that it appears on second glance to be more of a study of, historical or religious stuff, like a theological kind of course. And there's some people up in arms about them being taught in publicly funded campuses, which, as long as it's like a study of, like an anthropological thing or a theological course, people study religions all the time in college. I don't have an issue with it, as long as it's not like, hey, come do a naked prayer circle with us and practice a religion, kind of thing. Because I think that should be separate from classes. But so from that, we got to basically rights, and I don't even remember how that happened now that I'm thinking about it. But eventually it came back around to where is the line in terms of what you teach your children in and harming them.
Hi, Tom.
This is a little bit crazy. Beak says that he saw a video of a father circumcising his daughter.
Oh, geez, Beak, why would you even? No.
Ew.
First off, that man needs to be put under the prison.
Yeah, what are you doing touching your daughter's genitals after a certain age? I mean, it's not, that's already perverted to me. After a certain age, she's off limits for you to touch. You know, just like for women, we're not supposed to touch our sons after a certain age. You know, after diaper age, we're not supposed to be digging in their pants.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's disgusting.
So, but yeah, I guess basically like, because obviously we're against the quote unquote gender affirming care that they're trying to get with kids now. And that kind of led into, well, there are other things that happen, to kids regularly that we just accept because it's cultural and because it's traditional and because it just has always happened, that I think personally would fall under the same kind of category, like piercing a young girl's ears, or like circumcision of an infant. I kind of see the point, like that. If cutting their junk off and putting a fake penis on a little girl or whatever is child mutilation, then so is this. And I think that if somebody wants to do that to themselves, they need to wait until they are a legal adult capable of making that decision themselves.
Well, there's a difference between beauty standards, because the ear piercing is a beauty standard. It's not really a health reason. Right. And these people, what they're doing with the sexuality, about the whole gender confirmation and all of that, this is, well, I'm sure you all agree, the three of you do agree, that it's just confusion that is also aided by parents, which later turns into abuse because you are not properly guiding. The proper parent would guide the child into the right direction. And if you're letting the child run amok, oh my God, that scared me so bad. If you let the child run amok, you are not properly parenting. Hence, you are abusing.
Sure.
You're creating more damage than, sorry.
But I guess what the conversation was is like, I also believe that parents have a right to raise their children in their preferred way of existence. What they believe, how their morality, their religion, their belief system, their we have the right to raise our children to be as we are. That's how we preserve our cultures. But at what point does it become less preserving your culture and passing it on and more abuse, I guess? Because there is a line somewhere.
I would say things that are more permanent, just like Boaz said. He said pierced ears will heal if left alone. I think when things are permanent and things will not go back to normal, then that is a point where you are abusing them, because there is no fix. So with the whole genital mutilation, you're creating a sterile child. Now that person will be sterile for the rest of their life for something that they did in the teen ages, you know what I mean? Because of confusion. That is where I believe is the line.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. I agree with, like, if you're an adult, if you want to continue doing that to your body or like add on to your body, by all means, that's all you. As far as like me, because I've had my ears pierced since I was 1 year old, there were several years that I went without wearing earrings because I just didn't care. I'm not a jewelry person, and I still don't care to wear jewelry. Only on certain occasions I will. But during high school, I was an emo kid, and I gauged my ears. So I stretched out my ear holes, and I stopped to a certain point because I know if I continue, my earlobes won't go back. Mm-hmm. So I think I stopped at a 00. And then I knew, I was like, all right, cool. I have to be an adult now and have to be professional. So I stopped, and my ears did go back to the same size when the original pierced. They never closed up though, even though hearing like, yeah, if you leave them alone, it will close. So everybody's body is different. Even though the fact my ear piercings never healed. When I pierced my nose and I took it out, yes, my nose hole healed. So It does depend. Because I only had my nose pierced for like 10 years. And then like, okay, like I said, I snapped out of it. We're like, all right, I have to be professional now. So take out my nose ring and then take out my gauges.
I did the same thing with my, I had my tongue pierced, took that out, healed up real quick. Lip piercing, healed up. I've had nipples pierced. I took those out for painful reasons that I explained it one time, and we won't go back into that story.
And a good reason.
Your look, Amir. Your look, Amir.
Did it have to do with
I'm
car
sorry.
battery and jumper cables?
No, it did not. It was a female and I were having a little fun, and she decided to put her fingers in the rings and jerk backwards, and she got mule kicked, and got told to leave, and she said, "This is my house." I said, "I don't care, leave."
That'd do it. That'd do it.
Yeah, the first time I heard that story, like I felt it, even though it's not me. But even the second time, it's just like, oh,
yeah.
Like I feel for you. I'm sorry.
That was not a fun day.
Yeah.
This is one of the problems with like body piercings is that there are things that will happen that will make things exponentially worse. You can get caught on stuff, for example. Things can get torn out. I'm not going to repeat the story, but I have told it on this channel about a friend of mine and a mishap that occurred that caused her a tremendous amount of pain and suffering for months. It's just brutal stuff. So I did have one other thing that I wanted to discuss tonight, if y'all are up for it. Have you guys been following the Titan sub story?
Yes.
Well, no one has because it's dead. Nobody followed it. That's
I guess I'm nobody because I did follow it.
I mean, nobody followed it. That's why they got lost because nobody followed them.
And no one said a word.
Larry, let's go to the back and talk for a second.
What? For what?
Let's go to the back and talk. Because I love you.
Wow.
Somebody's getting beaten.
Here comes the muzzle. What's up, Larry?
Can it wait till after the show?
Yes, it can wait.
Okay. So I have here video of James Cameron's remarks on this. Now, y'all know James Cameron is a well-known Hollywood director, and he is responsible for the movie Titanic, for example. And during that time, he got really invested and interested in deep sea exploration, particularly of wrecks like the Titanic. He has personally made a trip down to the ship. I think 53 times is what he said, something like that. And that's just him. There have been other people who've done it more than him. I would say at this point, given his experience, he probably is a bit more of an expert about this than the guys who built the original sub. So I figured we would listen to what he had to say and then see what we have to say about that.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I've been down there many times. I know the wreck site very well, as does my friend Bob Ballard. I've made 33 dives. I actually calculated that I've spent more time on the ship than the captain did back in the and of course, as a submersible designer myself, I designed and built a sub to go to the deepest place in the ocean, 3 times deeper than Titanic. So I understand the engineering problems associated with building this type of vehicle and all the safety protocols that you have to go through. And I think that what
damn it. Hold on. Sometimes it does this. All right. Hold on.
Many times I know the wreck site very well, as does my friend Bob Ballard, is watching drastically over that period of time. And the certification protocols that all other deep submergence vehicles, except this one, that carry passengers, especially paying passengers, all over the world in tropical waters, deep coral reefs, other wreck sites, and so on. The safety record is the gold standard. Absolutely. Not only no fatalities, but no major incidents requiring all of these assets to converge to a site. Of course, that's the nightmare that we've all lived with, since all of us entered this field of deep exploration. We live with it in the back of our minds. But because implosion, as Bob described it, such a violent event, is first and foremost in our minds. The pressure boundary, which is what they call the hull of the sub, that people go inside, is obviously first and foremost in our minds as engineers. And we spend so much time and energy on that. And we use all the computerized tools available today, finite element analysis. We worked on our sphere for our deep vehicle that went to the Challenger Deep for over 3 years, just in the computer, before we even made the thing. And then, of course, we pressure tested it over and over and over, and so on. So, this is a mature art, and many people in the community were very concerned about this sub, and a number of the top players in the deep submergence engineering community even wrote letters to the company saying that what they were doing was too experimental to carry passengers and that needed to be certified, and so on. So I'm struck by the similarity of the Titanic disaster itself, where the captain was repeatedly warned about ice ahead of his ship, and yet he steamed at full speed into an ice field on a moonless night, and many people died as a result. And for a very similar tragedy where warnings went unheeded to take place at the same exact site, with all the diving that's going on all around the world, I think it's just astonishing. It's really quite surreal. And of course, P.H. Nargeolet, the French legendary submersible dive pilot, a friend of mine. It's a very small community. I've known PH for 25 years. For him to have died tragically in this way is almost impossible for me to process.
So, thoughts?
Jack.
These people went down under, right? And what was the warning again? Because I couldn't understand what the warning that they were telling them was.
The safety concerns were the warning.
Oh.
Yeah, there was safety concerns. It was an experimental, basically homemade vehicle.
Their
controller was a gosh dang Nintendo Cube controller.
It was a PlayStation.
It was off market. It was off market though.
Yes, so it wasn't even like a real Nintendo controller.
Yeah, it wasn't a Nintendo controller. It was a PlayStation controller.
Well, it was Logitech, and Logitech are actually their devices. A lot of them are known for failing.
Yeah.
But wasn't there some?
Weren't they doing this for a very long time? I mean, there's been so many Titanic tours.
This particular sub was experimental in how it was constructed, what it was constructed with, and also the hiring practices of the crew. Had something to do with it too, because the CEO did not want basically a bunch of 50-year-old white men who had experience doing this. He wanted to present a more inclusive and face to his crew, so he hired inexperienced young people.
Yeah, he also said that he did not want them. He did not want older white men who had been in the military. He said they weren't inspirational enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So diversity hires laws, right?
Now, didn't the hull, wasn't it determined to have little micro cracks in there as well?
Yeah, and that had I think more to do with the material they were constructing it out of, which was I can't remember what it was.
Fiberglass.
It wasn't fiberglass. Carbon fiber. There you go. Yeah, it was carbon fiber, which is not known to stand up to those kinds of pressures.
No.
So they had problems there. Now, there is another video of them working on putting this thing together, and there were some people on the internet who were just like, "Oh my gosh, why is he hand torquing that?" I was like, for precision, that's actually the right tool. Because it's not the bolts and those seals you need to worry about. The pressure will create a tighter seal than that bolt ever will if you get down there. That's not the problem. The problem was there was, I think, Joker, like you were saying, micro fissures in the material itself.
You know what I think? I think his excuse for not hiring more experienced, for not hiring what he said he didn't want to hire, I suspect that either he was told by people who fit that description, or he knew that they would have told him to go kick rocks had he presented them with this opportunity, because they would have asked him, what was it made out of? I'm not even a scientist. And the moment, you said carbon fiber, I already knew. If he had said that, I'd have been like, you've lost your mind. So
I
I
wanna.
just, go ahead.
I just want to tell you guys, I'm going to be mobile, but I'm going to carry you guys with me, so I won't turn on my camera until I get back home. But I need to make a quick stop to the store, okay? I'm going to take you guys with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, no problem.
Cool.
But yeah, no, I do think that, and I see. Okay, she'll be back. I see that. Where was it? Shadow said something about the sub guy diversity hires caused death and damage to property. I don't believe that it was solely the diversity hires. I think that their inexperience certainly contributed to this, but I think that that actually the construction of the materials and the lack of testing it to within an inch of its life before putting people in it was
Stress
the bigger
testing.
problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that like Cameron was just saying, they tested his design for 3 fucking years before they ever even built the damn thing in simulations, long before they even had something to put people into. And I think that had a lot more to do with it than the obviously the inexperience certainly contributed, but I don't think that was the biggest problem that they faced. No. So good hires would have handled a stress test. No, good hires would not have gotten into the damn thing in the first place because it was a death trap.
Like you,
Yeah,
Which they were told.
that thing didn't look.
It didn't look safe at
Yeah,
all.
No.
yeah.
And they were told by experts repeatedly, this is not a good idea. And I think that it wasn't actually about diversity. I think he hired who would be dumb enough to get into the damn thing.
Yeah.
Because anybody who had any real experience with this was already saying, no, we're not doing this. You shouldn't do this. No one should do this. And they didn't listen. I think that he couldn't hire on anybody with experience.
Yeah. And then he only took in people who were like, hey, I need a job. And, I have a kind of an expertise on this, so let me give it a shot. So that's what happened.
A carbon fiber hull. So it's made of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
It's
supposed
not
to withstand the pressures of the ocean, of the deep ocean.
No.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think they had the idea that it would. And I think that the CEO himself was aboard, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, at this point, he cannot be held responsible for the deaths of those people.
His company will be.
They did all sign
The waivers.
the waivers for that. So
They
legally,
are clear.
yeah, in terms of I don't think there's going to be any real action on them about that. There may be civil suits that are adjacent to that, but yeah, there won't be any criminal action taken.
So basically, the passengers signed a assumed risk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What was the flag of the nation, U.S. or Canada? I actually don't recall.
I think wasn't it like a British explorer or something like that? I think
one of the passengers was a British billionaire.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the CEO was.
He was American, I think.
Yeah. So probably us. And by the way, real quick before I forget, good to see you, Bernie. Great to see you. And Fix, welcome to the channel. Haven't seen you here before. I know who you are, but welcome. So I know who you are by extent of Amir's channel and all that. But yeah, welcome. It's just, it seemed like I get the high-minded ideals of like, innovation requires, that we got to be the biggest and the best, but we got to do experimental things if we're ever going to change the way things are and all that. I get that, but at the same time, any real explorer, any real scientist worth their damn salt would have tested the shit out of this first.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have put anyone else's life at risk. They might have put their own, but they would certainly not have put other people in there.
Yeah.
So somebody should be liable for this, but that is what it is, I guess. But I appreciated James Cameron coming out and saying what he did. I think from what I hear, he's a difficult man to get along with and to work with, but the man knows his shit when it comes to underwater stuff.
Because he did his research. He made a successful movie out of it. But, in order to make a successful movie, to tell a story, he did his due diligence of learning of what happened, what caused it. Obviously, he said that even though the captain was told several times, there's ice ahead, ignore the warnings, and then, yeah.
Dempsey, I heard that they suspected, they heard what they thought was the sound of implosion, I think something like 2 hours after the sub lost contact with its mothership, because they started paying attention to it then. So yeah, I had heard that they knew on Sunday. But new is a loose term. They still had to get down there and find the damn thing to prove that was in fact what they had heard. So I guess because when I first heard that, I was just like, holy shit, they knew, and they let those people's families just fucking suffer for days. Well, they went out and wasted taxpayer money looking for a sub they knew was destroyed. But the more I thought about it, at those depths, like you can hear a sound, and I'm sure they're accurate about what those sounds are, but they still have to be sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, Carrie, I guess that's a more succinct way of saying it. They did not know what happened. They knew something happened. That's true. Yeah, it's so yeah, Dempsey, I had heard something to that effect, and I immediately jumped to that assumption too, but I think I was wrong about that. So are we doing this again, Shadow? He's listing, I haven't asked him to do this in a long time. He's listing off the titles that he's decided to attach to me. I don't have an issue with any of them. I think they're awesome. You can call me those all you want. So I don't know. It's a tragedy. It sucks that happened. People are, this was 100% avoidable. Nobody had to die for one dude's ambitions. I mean, not really. I don't know what to say about it. Yeah, go ahead, Nomi.
What was their end game of going on that exploration? Just like seeing the remains of it, or hoping they would find, that treasure that like that necklace that rose through? Like, what was their end game? What was like their main mission on going on this trip?
I mean, that was
to look at the wreckage.
I guess.
Just to look at the wreckage.
As beautiful as the guy tried to make it. Yeah, it was as elegant as he might try to make it sound. It was nothing more than a sightseeing tour.
And I think it was reported like tourists got trapped down there. So I was like, okay, so yeah, you're right. It was probably just a tour thing. Nope, you can't pay me enough money just to go deep down in the ocean like that, especially if it's something that janky of a ship.
$250,000 per seat.
You can barely pay me to go knee deep into the ocean.
Oh wow, okay.
Nope.
It's all the skittery things, isn't it?
It's full of things that are designed to kill me. So.
And if you really think about it, it's like if you see the foam that comes on the shoreline, it's just whale semen. If you really think about it, yeah. No, like I think about it, like okay, there's a massive creatures that live in the ocean. What's where this foam is coming from?
Yeah.
I didn't need to hear that, Nomi. Thank you.
Right.
Don't ever repeat that again, please.
I don't want to hear it about I don't want to hear it about Ryan's tongue anymore. Suka says that apparently Russia is having a coup attempt as we speak.
I read that. I saw that as well.
Wow.
I mean, is it Tuesday?
Who funded it?
I'm just saying.
Who funded it? There, that's That's the question,
Yeah.
Larry.
No offense to anybody out there in the world, but I mean, Russia has a coup like every 10 years.
Pretty much.
It's about that time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's actually happening or not. I haven't looked into it, but it is there's a lot of stuff going around. A lot of whacked out things happening in the world today. That's why we're discussing things like circumcision and imploding submarines, and apparently,
and witchcraft.
Kind of, I don't know, stitched voodoo doll.
And whale semen.
Does it come with hat pins, JB?
No, it does not come with hat pins. Someone made this. Someone made this for me as a gift.
Fair enough.
Crochet.
It's a sweet gift.
Is she cussing out somebody on?
Yeah, it looks like there's some road rage happening there.
All right.
I don't think this is safe of her to even be on the stream right now.
It's not.
I know, but you're allowing it.
She gave a look.
Sorry, I'd rather be safe than sorry, because if something does happen,
but
unfortunately, it does fall on you.
Here's the thing, though, Naomi. You're not the one that's going to get yelled at about what you just said.
That's true.
I'm sorry, Larry. I set you up to get yelled at.
We live dangerously. Yeah, that's also true. Amira is fast and furious from Suka. She's drifting. The Lebanese drift.
Not a Tokyo drift.
Wow.
Well, she's not from Tokyo.
I know.
I'm glad I'm not you guys, because
not Asian clothes. Okay. Oh, you're talking about you're talking about my robe. Oh my god, you're talking about that.
No.
Oh no, I didn't.
No.
Even...
And we were just talking about you driving and not being Japanese and Fast and Furious and all that stuff. But all I heard from the first thing you said there was Asian hose. Like, is that what you said?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh man. Right. Yeah. Hands-free phone. It was a good idea, Bella. It's a good idea. I'm gonna get beaten later, and by that I mean Larry's gonna take a beating for me later. Fix says women drivers.
I did not say a word of this.
I didn't even bring it up.
Fix is a woman.
Okay.
She'd know.
All right.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I had a few other things to go over tonight, but I just I don't know. I feel like we've actually discussed quite a few good things tonight. We might actually bring this to a close.
Wow.
Unless you guys want have anything else you want to cover before we do.
Well, don't close before I go home. At least let me go home first so you can close properly.
How long is that?
2 hours.
10 minutes. Yeah. Now we can.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I mean I have something. There's a link in the description, guys.
Yeah.
I've got my merch store sale going right now through the 15th of next month. My new shirt design for I'm raising funds for the Stuttering Foundation of America, since I am somebody with a speech impediment, and I'm trying to encourage others with speech impediments to get out of that comfort zone, take risks, get on platforms, take jobs where they have to talk. So just keep talking. I actually got a text earlier today from Mexican Iron Man. He got himself a shirt as well. So thank you, Mikey. The cannolis are getting theirs are arriving tomorrow. So definitely, it's going to a good cause.
Good deal.
Yeah. And I maybe if you can pull up the link and give folks a look at what the design is, if that's
Yeah,
at
I
all
can do that.
possible.
I can definitely do that. I just dropped it in my chat as well. It's also in the description on my channel. So you should definitely be able to get access to it. And yes, it looks like the correct link, and everything works. So let me bring that up real quick. And by real quick, I mean like an old boomer.
JV, I would
Mhm.
love to make a donation, and as man, I don't know. I want to, I would like a shirt, but I know
Just buy a shirt. Just buy a shirt.
I know if my parents see this, I will never hear the end of it. That's the thing, and they're like they've already, yeah.
That's why you cover it with your hair.
You know what? You're not wrong.
You could also gift it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell them it's for a good cause.
Okay, you know what? You convinced me.
Yeah.
Or you can I'm gonna say something in the private chat that you can just.
Okay, Doki. But yeah, I like the design. It's actually really cool. Yeah, but if it goes to a good cause, I want my money to go to good causes, not like doomed screaming metal death trap submarines.
Right. Beak asks, is that the only shirt design?
No, there's not. Is another. If you go to page 4 of Mixed Tees, on their homepage, you will see the original logo as well. Where if you click that top image, yeah, go to page 4 of latest.
Gotcha.
Click down on that, and then scroll down to page 4.
All right.
And then there's my original.
Okay, so this will be the this is the original design.
Yeah, and then so that design is going to be on the front in this. It's a smaller design, like in the pocket area, and then on the back is the ladies.
Nice, very cool. So yeah, the link is available. I just put it in my my live chat. I assume Joker, it's in yours as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it is in the description below on this stream on my channel. If you want a cool T-shirt design that goes and benefits some charity, this is the way to go. 100% of proceeds go to the Stuttering Foundation of America. So.
Yep.
It's very cool, man. And I have I think we promoted it last week as well. How many days are left?
It goes to the 15th of next month, so like 22 days.
Nice, very cool. Carrie, keep talking.
That's right.
So Beak says thanks.
You're welcome.
So very cool. I think it's a good deal. I think you're a better man than I too, because I'm not much for charity.
Donate to the children's fund. Why? Children never did anything for me.
I mean, kinda.
Well, I mean,
it sounds like me.
I mean, kind of the reason that I do this is because every job I've ever had, I have to talk. And this is something people with speech impediments tend to shy away from. And they kind of do a self-imposed censorship or silence themselves. And no, your voice is just as valid as anyone else's. So keep talking.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And I mean, like any kind of, I guess, impediment of any kind.
Handicap.
Really, the
handicapping.
Yeah.
Call it that.
But like any sort of stumbling block that's in your way, the only way to overcome it is to work through it. Really,
Yep.
you know, the more you talk, the less you have problems with stutter. It's similar to, I would say, rehab probably with you know, somebody who's got cerebral palsy. Not to bring up palsy again, you know, but you know, a lot of times their legs aren't formed right, so they work on them and they get better at being able to use what they have and that sort of thing. You know, so yeah. And actually, GV, I'm not sure that I am allowed to say handicapped. Not because of you or anything, but just in general. You know, isn't that one of the no words?
No,
like retard.
Not to me, it's not.
Big R.
Not to me, it's not. I mean,
I say retard with a hard R.
It actually is, because stuttering actually falls under the Americans with Disabilities Act, so it's technically a handicap.
Yeah. No, I was just saying mean things because I could. Speaking of mean things, just because I don't even know if Shadow's still in the chat. I think he might have gone to bed because, you know,
he's because it's past his bed at a time.
Well, that, and the kid works 2 jobs. I'm not gonna fault him for that. You know? But for those of you who missed it last week, we were going to just show this right quick. I hope Shadow sees this, and if he doesn't, I'll just play it again. When
he saw the he saw it.
He saw it the last time, I think.
Oh, I know he saw it. I just want him to see it as I play it. This isn't about him not seeing it. This is about me being cruel.
Okay.
So from Kohai Masochist, our favorite resident memer.
$20 is $20, but I'm gonna need the money up front, big boy.
That's never gonna get old. Never, I tell you.
That's glorious.
What's the saying? It was from Dante's Inferno, I believed. Over the gate of hell, abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Yep.
I used to have that over my front door.
Oh, Kohai.
She loves that. Kohai up on the screen there. That's who made that for us. She makes all of our memes. What's that on there?
Such a pessimist. Jeez.
Well, I usually do that just to fuck with missionaries, honestly. Because if they know they're Dante, they'll get the reference.
That's funny.
You know, it's something I do for fun, and I did a lot more in my younger days. But
Samael, I guess it looks like Kohai sent you another one, the one of Ryan.
Yes,
No, do I have to cover my eyes? I don't want to see it.
I did get that. I did, in fact, get that. I don't remember if I uploaded it. I know I sent it to Ryan, though.
I'm just gonna have my eyes covered until I know it's good to look at the screen again.
I don't have it right up, so this is going to take me a minute to get it set up because I forgot to upload this last week. But
are you going to
no peeking, Nomi?
I probably will. Yeah, it's only about it's not as long as the last one.
I mean,
it is.
That's what she said.
It's a surprise. It's a surprise.
I don't want to see it. Kohai, you need to tell me now if I need to cover my eyes, please.
Where the fuck did I put it? It's got to be in here.
No, okay.
Yeah, no, that is not uploaded in a place I can reach it right now. I will have it up for tomorrow. So for the show tomorrow, but yeah, right now it's not. It's just there's going to be a lot of stuff I got to do to get that set up right. But don't worry, it'll be up tomorrow. We'll show it tomorrow. It'll be a lot of fun, and it is not as long. And frankly, I think it's actually a lot funnier and less uncomfortable than the last one is. So. Yeah.
Wow. So I guess there's more
Cover
going
your eyes,
on.
but not your ears. I mean, it was close. So okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you, Kohai.
She clipped the shit out of his voice in one of his recent videos and just used that.
Wow.
It's pretty dark, but it's funny. It's special for
No, I want to see it.
No, that's the other one. She oh man, she hates that one.
I hate it.
We're not going to show that one tonight. I might show
Gene
it
Simmons?
tomorrow,
Thank God.
but I will give Nomi plenty of warning before I do.
The Ryan Simmons.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, no Ryan Simmons, please. I want to have a good weekend. That's all I ask.
Actually, Carrie, I do have a meme for you too. I haven't uploaded that yet either. She did send me one just for you. But we will get into that when I have that uploaded too. I have been kind of slacking on my uploading of memes lately. Sorry.
I'm fine with it.
I need to get one of you in the mud, baby.
Ugh, you fucker. Well, I mean, you had it right there. I had the little baby Joker there. So, I mean, you had your chance.
Yeah. I think
Kohai's
probably already on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure she is.
I don't think she's done too many of you. Yes.
I don't think she's done.
You guys don't think I've done what?
Oh, he was talking about our memer, Kohai. But yeah, we can hear you just fine. Yeah, it's a little bit tinny, but are you still? You're still driving?
I'm almost home.
Okay. Kohai, I'd suggest go to his channel. He does regular live streams. And he's like, oh. Well, folks, I don't know. Larry, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
I mean, he's in trouble later, but he's fine.
Now that we've got Joker on here, I can actually tell him why I was trying to get a hold of him. See, Joker, we figured that we could, the three of us discuss having a segment just for you.
Oh God, I'm scared now.
Like maybe a once a month kind of thing.
Huh?
Yeah, see, we figured since you've been in a bar, there's no telling how much you've seen. I got inspired by watching Bar Rescue. And
oh God,
I bet you Joker has
that show was so fake. That show was so fake.
Yeah. But I'm sure that you've seen all kinds of stuff. Bar fights, managers doing stupid stuff, just all kinds of stuff. So we figured maybe a once a month segment. You can kind of come in and tell some Joker stories. Kind of like
sure.
Like Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories.
I mean, stuff that I've seen, maybe seen from my friends' bars. Oh, sweethearts.
Yeah,
he's not an
innocent
man.
15 years of bar attending in Las Vegas. Use your imagination, ladies.
That's why I suggested it, because we'll never run out of content.
Yeah, I think this is gonna definitely rival Amira's strip club segment with Keela.
Oh, I've got some strip club stories too. I'm just saying.
Man, I actually want to hear this now. Can you come back next week?
We can fit him in. You want to do one next week?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, if you're free, more than welcome.
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, also
Carrie, not quite that extreme, but at least not at my bar. But I have heard stories. So,
what do you think? He's Fredo over here.
Biggest story. Yeah, we've got another friend of ours and fellow mod on Amira's channel, Sir Keela Hayes, and periodically he will come up on the panel and she'll put him up on full screen, and it'll be time for strip club stories with Keela.
And boy, he got some stories. Speaking of stories, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I woke up this morning and
obviously because you're here.
Exactly. I got a message from Kohai. I got a message out of nowhere from Kohai. And in that message was a link to a quiz that she created. So it was too late for us to fit it in tonight. But that may not be the case next week or whatnot. It's up to ultimately it's up. I'm all for it. But the way Nomi and Samuel are doing is we're doing doing everything by vote. So, but it's definitely on the list to come. It's definitely on the list to come down the line. So everybody will be.
You made the list.
That was your first mistake, Larry. What the hell are you talking?
I don't know. So
I still don't even know what the hell it is that I did to be taken backstage.
I'm sure
you exist, Larry. I mean, do you really need a reason? Does she need a reason?
Well, it's nighttime, so good luck finding me.
Yeah, you want to stand there till he smiles.
Well, just smile.
Let's not smile.
Just smile.
No, Mr. Officer, I was good. Please don't.
Are you getting pulled over right now?
Are you really?
No, see, what happened was I was passing, and there was a BMW who was trying to race me, and we were just having a little bit of fun. And then the cops, they were on the side. They had their lights on. I thought they were busy. So I was like, oh, it's okay. We'll just pass them. And now they came behind me. But they're not doing anything yet. So
he's probably running your plate.
Look in the rear view.
Yeah, he's running your plate.
They're running your plate.
Yeah, he's running your plates.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, that's not very smart. To look, he's like watching me. Yeah, you need to get off the stream.
Get off the stream, dear.
You got the link. Come back in when you're home.
No, I'm good.
If an officer asks, I am like, I love you, but I'm not afraid to tell the truth because I respect police officers.
Yeah, he'll say, great, license and registration.
Agents of the state. Come on now.
Well,
No, he's good. He's good. He actually took the exit, so we're good.
Okay, you're good. Okay, so he ran your plates and saw.
That was scary.
So just know he ran your plates and saw nothing wrong, and it's like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let it slide. I mean, I think they have more things to do on a Friday night.
What's that? Hey, Joker. What's that? Sin City. I was about to say, Joker. What movie was that where what's his face was driving that cop pulled up behind him, and he was like hoping Dwight, and he was hoping that the cop didn't pull him over. Yeah,
Sin City.
Good
Sin
movie.
City. Yep, good film.
The second one could have been better than what it was.
Well, the second one sucks. Yes.
Well, because the second one was actually a prequel.
And then they exit. So no more films. No.
Okay.
Longest 10 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's pretty. No, well, now we're all on edge, waiting to see what happens here.
Right.
I know. Like, is the cop gonna pull her over?
Is there red and blue flashing? Red and blue. Red and blue. Red and blue.
Will he just juke her?
Go downtown with a new set of stainless bracelets.
Right. And I hear orange is nice.
Orange was really good on me, actually. I know we're good in stripes, but orange was really good.
Whoever said orange is the new pink is severely disturbed. I just referenced a movie. So
Yeah.
it's okay. Legally Blonde, but it's okay. A girl movie.
I think I saw that when I was young and dumb and high.
Okay. It's a classic girl movie. It's funny because it's Reese Witherspoon in college, and she's like, "Whoever said orange is the new pink was severely disturbed." So,
speaking of that, can you imagine? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Joker.
My favorite line from that film is when her ex said, "You got into Harvard Law," and she said, "What?
Like it's hard? Yeah."
You're
not wrong, Kohai.
You're not wrong, Kohai. You are not wrong.
Love how the colors red, white, and blue represent freedom until you see them flashing behind you.
Yup. Like I said, agents of the state.
Oh man, yeah. The last thing we need is our good friend being taken into custody by a bunch of jackbooted thugs. I say that, take that with a grain of salt. Actually, I work directly with police officers, and most of them are decent people. The ones I work
Most
with
of
anyway.
them.
I can't speak for all cops everywhere, but the ones I know, and I'm on and most of these guys I'm on a first name basis with because I see them every day.
Did they know that you're sleeping with their wives?
What the fuck, Larry?
I just asked a question. I didn't say that it was actually happening.
Let me clear something up for everybody involved. All right.
Whoa.
Yes, I sometimes will indulge in a little male whoring. Whatever.
Sometimes.
I don't mess around with married women. I don't sleep with my friends.
No.
Those are two lines I don't mess around with. And the friends thing for obvious reasons, because that's damaging. But the married thing, because where I live, it's legal to be shot for fucking another man's wife.
Oh.
Yeah.
And yet that doesn't stop you.
It actually does, Larry. It actually does stop me.
Wow.
Also, I've been divorced and I ain't a goddamn homewrecker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that I believe. Now, what I don't believe is you not roasting snakes on your car's engine.
Yeah, that was something
Jesus
you completely
Christ.
made up in your mind. It never happened.
He's not gonna let that go.
It never happened.
No, Suki, he's not.
Well, you
He's
guys
not in
remember
Texas.
the video? Larry, and Sammy were watching these videos of Samuel hanging out of a car in the middle of the freeway on the driver's side. You remember that?
Yeah, that was the
That
other
was
night.
Samuel. Yeah, Samuel
Drunk
was
as hell.
driving like 110 and hanging out of the driver's side window.
So they're saying this
because flying in the wind.
because I said that when I was younger, I may or may not have attempted similar things to varying
Well, it was
degrees of
definitely
result.
you, because the way that person was dressed, it was not modern. That was definitely you.
Yeah.
And a white
Suka,
guy.
no, Suka, Wyoming. In
You
Wyoming,
were driving out the window, acting crazy.
let me
You were
finish what I'm
using
saying, Larry.
you were
Let me
using a
stop.
Western Diamondback rattlesnake as the damn belt for your engine.
With the
This
hair
gets
flying in
more
the wind.
ridiculous every time Larry tells it. I don't know if you guys
does.
noticed that.
No, but the hair was flying in the wind. That's what makes it most ridiculous part.
Anyway, Suka, no, I live in Wyoming. And in Wyoming, if a spouse catches their spouse cheating on them, they are legally within their rights to shoot both the person they're cheating with and their spouse. It's an old law from...
Yeah.
We're hardcore.
Yeah, I was going to say, Wyoming's a little harder than Texas, and I kind of like that.
Actually happened to a teacher of mine when I was in high school. She got caught by her husband banging another dude. He shot the guy. He didn't kill him. He shot him in the ass. And scared her so bad that she ran, because they were in a place that was actually a little ways outside of town, like a pavilion, community center kind of thing. Rodeo hall, that sort of deal. Anyway, they were out there, the parking lot out there, and she ran all the way back into town screaming her head off, butt ass naked, with tears streaming down her face.
Wow.
Because she thought that her husband had killed the other guy. He didn't. He shot him with a .22 in the ass cheek.
Do you still have a scar?
It wasn't me. I was in high school at the time.
Wow.
As if that would stop you.
Wow.
Larry with the snipes today.
I'm just messing with. No, this is actually normal. You guys it's normally over the phone with him. He's just being quiet right now because he's hoping that his savior will step in and start yelling at me like she always does every
What
time
savior?
he does something.
She was making fun of me too. What savior? You know what? There have been teachers, not that teacher.
I'm not protecting either one of you. Both of you are the same to me.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Actually, yeah, Kohai, got to Photoshop Larry on the back, on the picture of Shadow beating a dead horse now.
It's not. It's a dead snake, Kohai.
For those who were wondering.
Oh no! Oh no!
Whose jacked up feet are those?
Those are Brie Larson's feet.
No.
Oh my God! I am finally home. Yes.
So
Good.
why is Twinkerbell trying to beat Ryan's wife?
Because she's the dead horse.
I agree with what was saying earlier though about Samuel Hell Jackoff. She has been doing a good job keeping her mouth shut, and then he goes and says what he said. And the funny thing is there was this guy, for those of you who may not have watched earlier, there was this guy that as I went on my little rant, because Sam seemed to not have a problem with saying a racist word that was really aimed at him, low key, in my opinion, because he lets Quentin Tarantino constantly do it. And this guy pops in and goes, "Well, as a black man, I really don't care." So I wanted to elaborate because I didn't want to be on somebody else's stream, elaborating why. When you look at Samuel L. Jackson, I'm like, wasn't that him that started talking trash about Donald Trump being racist and some other stuff a week ago? So how are you going to do that? And then you go ahead and participate in what Quentin Tarantino was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And in cases in character was saying the stuff to you. So if it bothers you that much in real life, why are you going along with a movie? Because as a black man who served in the military overseas, I can tell you right now, there are people who have stereotypes about me because of people like him participating in movies like that and perpetuating stereotypes.
Right.
That's why I said what I said. But I didn't want to start a fight on someone else's platform. So I just let it go.
I get it. And that's a fair point. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson, when he rebukes someone saying you can't say that word, but yet takes roles where every negative word is said to him over and over and over and over and over again, seems a little. I don't know.
I believe I made that point in the group chat too. It's like now he gets upset about it when his quote unquote friend plasters other white dudes saying this shit to him to his face all day long across screens all across America in fucking public. Now he's got a problem with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Samuel dummy.
Yeah, and he really threw her under a bus, whether he intended to or not. He completely did, because now she's going to have to answer that type of question all the way through the release of her film.
Well, that was the other thing. It's like, why is he bringing up something that like whatever happened with her and like TDS and all that stuff back in 2016? Like why is he bringing that shit up now? And why does it feel like he's throwing her under the bus for some reason?
Because Sam took the bait from an activist journalist, because Bree's film is the last Marvel film for this year, and it's not projected to do well. And he went to Sam because they have done multiple films, and asked, what do you think? And the interviewer started it by saying the sexist Marvel fans, and Samuel L. Jackson took the bait and went on this tirade.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where just last month, Bree was at the Cannes Film Festival, and she was a big part of the Me Too movement with Johnny, with Johnny, with the trial with Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp's film was showing at Cannes as well. Brie Larson was a judge, and so some activist journalists tried to ask her, what do you think about this? About Johnny Depp being here, and how he was how Amber Heard was unjust. It was an unjust decision and everything. And Brie was basically like, I'm not here to talk about Johnny Depp. I know he has a film here. If I'm slotted to go to watch it, I'll watch it. That's as far as this goes. And she she just completely avoided it, the whole thing. And I think she has some new handlers that are basically telling Smile, shut up, and don't piss off fans.
Yeah, because she didn't Ezra Miller screw up. Which, by the way, Joker, I don't know if you know this sidebar, but I came across a news article. Was a news article. I'm looking at it on Reddit, but apparently, the Flash producer, when he was asked about fans claiming that Ezra Miller would be replaced after everything he did, his comment was he was quoted as saying, "We laughed."
Okay, but that's okay. Well, that's irrelevant, really, because that film's a lame duck. There's never going to be a sequel for it. The only reason it got released is because it's got too many international theatrical contracts in place, so they had to release it. So all they're doing now is trying to recoup as much as they can from this film, and just based on what it's looking like for the numbers, this thing from weekend to weekend is going to have a 75% drop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's the whole thing's a shit show, I think.
Right.
So oh, she's back.
Hey.
Is she back? I just see there's a room. Aha, there she is. she's doing she's doing her Jack Nicholson.
Wait, is the cat screaming?
I don't know. Does it matter?
What is she
It
doing?
really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
That's
It'll survive.
I thought you shot your cat. So I just heard that loud bang and thought it was a gunshot.
Oh, trust me. The thoughts have not escaped me to do that. Trust me. I have not.
Okay.
She's more likely to defenestrate the poor bastard.
Hey. because no really means yes. We know that. You know what I'm saying?
That's not defenestrate means to throw out a window.
Oh well, that too.
Well, I mean, speaking of one thing I've heard in a bar, this will be a precursor to the bar stories. Some gal made a jokingly said, "Well, no means no," and then the guy said, "Well, actually, no means yes, and yes means anal." So.
And on that happy note,
the stuff you hear in bars, folks.
Yep. So let's go around the horn. First, before we start doing that, everybody who is on panel, all of their links are in the description. Go check them out, and all that, because they're all wonderful, wonderful people. Even with Nomi's little Tourette's twitch. What the hell was that? Are you okay?
What was that?
Yeah, I have twitches. Okay.
Okay. I'm just I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I was like, did she get possessed?
So is your twitch like a habit? It's like a bad habit that you do, or is it like something you can't control?
Both. I guess it's more of like.
Does it comfort you when you do it? After you do it, you feel comforted?
It just happens. I wouldn't say comfort. It usually happens when I'm cold or I'm getting tired.
Mm. So if you're cold and tired, it's
dead.
worse.
Yeah. So,
you're just dead.
Yeah.
Twitch out. Just twitch out.
I just twitch out. But it's more of like a nervous system thing. Like I said, if I'm cold, I just twitch.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay.
I've noticed that for a long time ago that I've always had this.
Short circuit. That's cool. I like it.
And the meme has been made of Larry. You're welcome, Larry. I imagine that'll be coming through shortly.
Who's making memes of my Larry?
Kohai makes memes of all of us.
Better not make a meme about me.
She did, and I showed it to you, and you laughed.
Did I?
Yeah, it's the one.
Was I ISIS or something?
You had like an apple on a knife.
Yeah, but it was just a picture, right? It was just a still. That was it.
Yeah, no, she added words to it, that sort of thing.
ISIS, that was a great show back in the 70s.
No,
Go
it's not
hi.
the
If I
ISIS
see
she's
you in
talking about.
person, if I see you in person, don't worry about it. We will talk. I
That one.
Wow. Why do I look like freaking ISIS? Come on, Kohai.
You got a hoodie on and a knife in your hand.
Why do I look like literally like ISIS? Come on now, Kohai. You can do better than that.
I think she's got some.
Don't
some other
challenge her.
Keep in mind anything that you make that's too offensive. Kohai, ISIS will kill a family member of mine. So.
You mean Cohisis?
Sorry, that was a bad joke. Let's go around the horn. Amira, what do you have coming up that you would like to promote?
As you guys know, I always do my my regular Saturday show about ending the faggotry in this country. That's typically what I like to talk about. I mean, typically that's what I talk about, that and the noses. But join me tomorrow. We're gonna do the typical Hitler stuff that we normally do. So I'm excited. I hope you guys can join me tomorrow. I don't know what the topic will be exactly, but we'll figure out
I'll
something.
make a list.
Thank you, Larry. Well, I did have a topic. Wait, before you guys go, I did have something. I wrote it down because that's what we do. I wrote it on a list, and the topic will be something about 1 minute. God damn it. Sorry. I got it. Be patient. Here we go. The topic should be what car you drive says about you. What the car you drive says about you.
Okay.
Well, you know,
if you're
doesn't
walking,
work, so
I guess your feet can count as wheels.
Well, I've noticed something about cars and certain people's political views and their life and who they are. So I want to share that with you guys, and we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about the cars that faggots typically drive and what that means about
there
them.
it is again.
Wow.
That's like you missed it the first time. She's already said it once in this diatribe.
I know.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we are looking forward to that. And like I said, her link is in the description below. If you were interested, go ahead, go sub and hit the notification bell. Larry, what do you have coming up?
I will be back next week on Abyssal Musings. Hopefully, we'll have JV with us to give us a couple of bar stories. Hopefully, we will be subjected to Kohai's quiz, and who knows what else. Of course, the Exile Lioness she's always welcome. So, and I look forward to seeing everybody here back next week, along with my co-host Samuel the Infamous and Know Me Without You.
Very good. Very good.
I finally just understood her name when you actually said it. I was like, "Know Me Without You." That doesn't make any sense because I thought it was like, no, I don't know how to say it, but now I understood it when you actually said it, Larry. That's a cute name. That's really cute.
All right. It is pretty clever, actually. It's I showed your channel to my mom, and because she's always like, oh, who you got on your show now and all that stuff. I was like, oh, this young woman here, and she's great. She's like, Know Me Without You. That's really clever. It's a good pun.
Because there's no me without you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joker Voice, what do you have coming up?
Tomorrow, if I'm awake from copious amounts of alcoholic drinking, tomorrow I may show up on Screaming Into the Void. Sunday, I'm on with Wookie Be Bad for something Sunday. That's noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then Monday with my normal Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos. I'll be streaming with Ryan, Legion Talk Monday, and Friday for Game of Thrones on Monday with Know Me here. That is 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then Friday night's Royal Rumble 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Thursday, I believe I will be on with Roman of the Empire. We will be talking episodes 1 and 2 of Secret Invasion, that horrible Marvel show that Kevin Feige needs to be ashamed of himself. And you are, huh? You are ashamed? But
I love that gag. I do. I don't know why. It's really funny to me. Nomi, what do you have coming
up? Well, it's going to be midnight in like 6 minutes. So tomorrow morning, I will be on Dreaming Tabitha painting with Dreaming Tabitha.
That is an awesome time. That is an awesome time.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, it's gonna be at 8 in the morning my time. So I'm like, I can't stay out late, guys, because I'm getting tired and I know I have to be up early. But yeah, I'll be with her, and then around 1 o'clock Mountain Time, I'll be on Phil TMNT, his stream. I'm not sure what we're talking about, but I'm looking forward to hanging out with him. And then also tomorrow as well, Screaming Into the Void with these awesome people.
Yay! That's us. All right. So for those of you who are new here, we do this show every Friday nights. Let me try that again and not sound like a retard. We do this show every Friday night, approximately 9:30 p.m. It's called Abyssal Musings. We do. We're gonna probably lean a little bit more into pop culture from here on out. We started the show with kind of a horror bent, and we'll probably be getting more back to that horror movie kind of angle. Saturday afternoons, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, approximately. Because again, you know how it is. It's the internet. We're always late. Screaming Into the Void, which is a bit more of a chaotic panel where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like, and it's a lot of fun.
And Ryan's on it, so it's chaos just from the start.
Yeah, and chaos follows wherever I go. It's super fun. Also on Sunday, we simulcast a show that we're now calling officially Star Trek Engage, where Ryan of Legion Games, shut the fuck up, Joker. Ryan of Legion Games, Adam the Renaissance Nerd, Horny Alf, myself, and possibly more who will join us down the road are going to be going through. We're finishing up with Star Trek Season 3, Picard Season 3. I think we've got like 3 episodes left, and then we're going back to the beginning with the original series all the way up through Voyager, at least, possibly Enterprise, if I could talk these guys into it. That said, occasionally I pop up on other channels. I do some work for Amira, as does Larry, on her channel. And you can, usually if she's online, if she's live, we're there too. So you can usually find us over there as well. Thank you all for coming. This has been a pretty good show. I think we had some pretty solid topics tonight, and through no fault of my own. I mean, it was really all about the guests and everything. Thank you all for being here, my panel, and everybody in chat. Appreciate it on both channels. Have a great night, and remember, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Also, vote me 2024, because why choose the lesser evil?